Okay, so then Attorney Shard gets up there and discusses. He wants to talk to Racy about pretty much. You're not actually an expert, are you? And then, Racy is like, I'm not an expert in this case, but I could have been qualified as an expert because I do have expert level knowledge. And he's like, okay, what's going on, Hippie Easter? He's like, so if you were an expert, then can you tell me what the range of the cell? No, he didn't say that yet. He said, so he pretty much said, so all of this location information we've been looking at over the last couple of days, that's not cell phone location data, right? That's cell tower. Those are the locations of the actual cell tower itself, correct? He was like, yes, that's accurate. That's the cell tower. It's not the phone. He was like, and can you tell me what the radius of that cell tower's range is? What's the radius that cell tower can pick up? Racy is like, I don't know that much. That's not in my report right here. I don't have that information. But if I was qualified as an expert, then I would have got that information. He was like, so you don't know what the radius is because you're not an expert right now, right? So pretty much Shard just wanted to establish to the jury, this man is not an expert. He does not have all the information. He don't even, that location information they've been spending 5 days going over, 3 days going over, whatever. That's not even the phones that we've been talking about this whole time. That's a cell tower data. That's a cell tower that's stationary. Is always there. So us talking about where that cell tower is located matters not at all because they don't know exactly where the cell phone was at. They just know that was the closest tower to ping off of that cell phone. So I think Shard was smart to use that angle to establish to the jury, this man is not an expert. I think that was good. That was a good strategy right there. But he finished up pretty quickly. Then Attorney Steele gets up there. And I think Steele was just like in heaven with those phone records. Because Steele was up there being real nice to the guy. Like it was, to me, Steele looked at it like, this is perfect. Because now we about to use the state's evidence, the state's exhibits, and we're going to clear Thug's name of this because they just went through the phone records. He's like, do you see where that phone number, that Jimmy Winfrey phone number called Jeffrey Williams? He like, yeah, it looks like he called him in January. Then it looks like he called him again in like May or something like it's pretty much showing like he still showed that Jeffrey Williams' cell phone pretty much didn't contact anybody else related to this situation during any of the time where the shooting happened. So, and that's the state's whole idea. The state's whole idea is that Lil Wayne was beefing with Young Thug, so Young Thug had one of his homeboys shoot at Lil Wayne. But the state can't show you where they had any type of conversation about that, even close to it. Because even when phone calls was made to Young Thug's phone from one of those numbers, Young Thug didn't answer the phone. So it's like a dead, like it's like the state just didn't even think this all the way through before they decided to throw this part of this RICO case when you already convicted a single person for it, right? Let me see what this says. And Mr. Nichols is going to have to wait at least 3 years for Mr. Harvey to get an appearance on the presidential. Oh, yeah. Mr. Nichols wants to be severed from this case. And I feel him, though, because he like, yo, all of this stuff that the jury is going to confuse my client with what y'all saying about them. And my client's name is not being brought up in any of this stuff. I shouldn't even be in here. He shouldn't be part of this. And the judge keep on denying his severance motion. I don't understand why. But that's the judge looking out for the state. You feel what I'm saying? So Brian Steele was in heaven with the phone records. That was just amazing for Young Thug. It showed nothing. And dang, there was something I was about to say. But the phone records like pretty much helped Young Thug in this situation. Now, let's see. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, so Thursday comes and they start off arguing pretty much because the state wants to use Jimmy Winfrey's certified conviction as proof of the overt act, the bus shooting, right? Attorney Shard is on him immediately. He's on him. When I say on him, I'm talking about he went up there and embarrassed him. And the judge had to speak up again for the state. Shard was on him, right? So Shard is like, that's not allowed because you can't really use a certified conviction unless you're trying to impeach the witness. So that don't even make sense. And the judge is like, you're right. Before you say anything else, let the state address that. Then the state, like he let Attorney Love address it, which I didn't understand Attorney Love addressing it because Racy is Hilton's witness. So I don't get why Love was up there arguing for something that was supposed to be, they were trying to get in with Hilton's witness. I don't understand that at all. But anyway, the judge asked Love, hey, why are you trying to put this in? Because of what Shard just said is right. So what are you doing? So then Attorney Love says, well, Judge, here's this case. And in this case, it says that you can use co-conspirators' convictions if it's a RICO case, pretty much. So in a RICO case, this applies. So pretty much in the middle of them talking, Shard gets up and says, Judge, like, what are they saying? This don't even make sense. Like, they're just, first of all, the case that they keep citing is from the 80s. Like, Jefferson is the case that everybody should be looking at. Jefferson's from a few years ago. And so then the judge is like, yeah, you got Jefferson. And then the state comes back with another case. And then Shard stands up again like, excuse me, Judge, but they're just looking up any case that says RICO. They don't know what they're pulling up. They're just pulling up anything right now. And the judge had to get him on a little bit like, hey, come on now. That's your assertion. Shard is like, yeah, that is me asserting it. I'm correct too, because they're just pulling up anything that's not even relevant to our case. Jefferson is almost exactly like what we're dealing with here. And it says that they can't do it. It's unconstitutional at the federal level and it's unconstitutional at the state level. They can't do it. They went into this whole like long argument about it. Of course, Attorney Shard was right. And the state ended up saying, hey, you know what? We're actually not even going to try to use that conviction. We let it go. After arguing for like an hour. So they just wasted everybody's time with that. And the judge is like, okay, whatever, cool. Y'all ain't going to use it. Then y'all just saved me some time. So that happened. I thought that was funny. But yeah, Shard definitely served him up something crazy right there. So then we are back to today, Friday. And it's a calm day because it's a half a day. And they actually only had the young lady who, you know, gets her sniffle on a lot, Miss Sharon Latners. And she was up there to discuss pretty much 911 calls and CAD reports about what happened at the Donovan Thomas shooting. So now we're about to get into the actual details and stuff they have around the Donovan Thomas shooting. So we just heard 911 calls or whatever. It was kind of eerie to hear. I'm not going to lie, because you hear people in real time calling and saying, hey, this guy's shot, or yo, they shot nut, people screaming. You got the one phone call that they played. They actually trying to, like, they in Donovan Thomas's face trying to coach him to stay awake and stay up and keep breathing and, hey, look at me and keep fighting, asking him where you got shot at and say, keep breathing, all of that, like while they're waiting on the police or the EMS to get there. And that one was a little bit like super eerie. I do think that for the first time we realizing that the camera operator in the court dropped the ball. Now, this is just, you kind of got to flip into like reality TV mode as a camera person in a situation like this in this courtroom. You got to take the camera off of Sharon Latners. You got to put the camera on the people that were supposedly involved in that shooting. See how they're reacting to those 911 calls. The person operating the camera, if you watch this podcast, keep that in mind. When you're hearing stuff like that, that's like heavy or could be emotional, whatever like that, turn the camera to the people that they say is involved. I'm not going to say their names right now, but I'm saying turn the camera. Put the camera on the people that the state is trying to say was involved, or that Kenneth Copeland tried to put in it and say they was involved. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's important. You want to read their body language. Are they uncomfortable? Are they shifting around when they're hearing these phone calls? You know what I'm saying? Is it making them emotional? That's the type of stuff that should be, you want to see that. As a person that's watching it, you want to see body language in these uncomfortable phone call situations, right? So there's been talk this week about Rich Homie Quan supposedly being called to testify and subpoenaed or whatever, right? Honestly, and I see people trying to discuss if he will be up there testifying or not. I don't see how he gets around testifying, right? There's been multiple people documented saying that Rich Homie Quan is essentially the reason If Gang and YSL was beefing. YSL started beefing with If Gang because while Thug started beefing with Young Thug with Rich Homie Quan, If Gang and Nut stepped in to protect Rich Homie Quan, right? So now I'm not sure if that's actually the reason that they was beefing or if it's because they fought Kenneth Copeland at the club back in October 2014. And they say Kenneth Copeland threw money at people, was throwing money in their face, and then they jumped on him. So we don't know if that was the cause or if it was the Rich Homie Quan thing. But the fact that people are documented and saying it, people such as quote unquote YSL founder Walter Murphy, aka DK, said that this beef came from saying that the beef came from the fight. I mean, the Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug split. They're gonna. I feel like they kind of gotta bring him up there because still up until this point, they haven't really shown why they're trying to connect Young Thug to this beef with this YSL and If Gang thing. You got to think about it. Really, the main person that seems like there was a beef with If Gang was Kenneth Copeland. And Kenneth Copeland is a state's witness. He's not in this case as a YSL defendant, right? He's not part of this trial. He'll be part of this trial as a witness for the state. So if most of these shootings that they keep talking about was between Kenneth Copeland's people and If Gang, then where did y'all get this Young Thug beef from, right? So I feel like they're going to need to try to get Rich Homie Quan to explain the fallout. Now I see what Mr. Parrish, what does that say, Parrish? Mr. Parrish Life. The DA don't want to call him because they know he's going to get on the stand and not snitch. Maybe. But Rich Homie Quan might be looking at this from a point of, I'm a celebrity. I have to be free to make money. Can I afford a perjury charge? Does the state already have something on me? You got to think about this. If they're trying to tie him in with If Gang, they could tie him. They could really put some of them charges on him if he don't do what they want. So the way that they get people to snitch a lot of times is to threaten them. Now, whether they are actually going to threaten him or not, we don't know. But if he's scared to catch gang charges with them, he might end up flipping. You never know. I'm not saying that he's going to snitch. I'm saying that you never know. Some people get in court and they get so scared that they just start answering questions that they probably shouldn't be answering. You see what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if he's actually going to be called to testify or not. I just don't see how he wouldn't be when you got a founder of YSL saying that the beef started because of him. Right. And maybe it's both situations. Maybe it's the Rich Homie Quan coupled with the fact that Kenneth Copeland was in the club disrespecting him. So it could have been he was probably disrespecting them because y'all riding with somebody that we don't mess with. So it could have been that. You know, they start talking about the guy Shell Kell. He was terrorizing. He was, but everybody in this situation was allegedly active. You see what I'm saying? So I can't even say one side was the victim over the other. They was all getting down. You know, it's unfortunate that so many young black men is getting down with each other like that, but they was getting to it though. They was, like I said, this is a very grimy situation that's going on right now. I think that's I need to read what y'all saying about this. Let me see here. Yeah, his whole slip was showing. Yeah. It's interesting how the judge made a point that they were innocent a few weeks ago, and then yesterday, that's facts. Because when Attorney Love was trying to say, well, Judge, you mean they're not guilty yet, and the judge's like, no, they're innocent. You have to prove them guilty, but right now they're innocent, so we got to treat them like they're innocent. But Judge, you don't really feel like they're innocent because if you felt like they was innocent, you would have gave them boys a bond. Let's be real here. You know what I'm saying? They try to act like they upholding some like moral code with the laws and, innocent until proven guilty, but y'all never get them a fair shot. It's a lot easier to fight a case from the outside world than jail, than from prison, because you get access to more information out there. You get access to better stability out there, right? But you don't really believe that they're innocent because you didn't give any of one of them you didn't give them a bond. pretty much the only way any of them was getting out was to take plea deals. You see what I'm saying? So you don't really think that. You just was saying that to try to make yourself look good, but really you don't, because like she said, the bias started showing. Now you in court talking about they proved the conspiracy based on a preponderance of the evidence. Come on, man.